This is Laura of Mafka, aka Rogan Osron, and in today's video, I want to talk about hard work and suffering will get modern men nowhere. Rant. Because I'm getting fed up and tired of also hearing people say that if men just work hard, keep their head up, if they just stop complaining about their dating lives, get better high paying jobs, and work on their charisma, they can become any man they want to and their life will fall into place magically. These are some of the most pathetic and childish thinking people ever who say this stuff because, for one, these people have never had to go through any real challenges of being alone their whole life, mostly. They never were severely bullied. They never were rejected to the same extent that men find themselves in these situations to where they no longer want to try on life and just give up. These people have never went through anything significantly as hard as that. And number two, these people are most likely, I would say, right, are pathological liars, and they're the most scummiest and pathetic narcissistic people ever. Because you cannot tell a man that is in today's modern era, if he just works hard and goes through suffering, endures it all, that his life will magically fall into place. I mean, you have to be a heartless and just terrible individual to even suggest such advice for a man. Because, for one, no matter what men do nowadays, it will never please the people around them. No matter what job avenue the average guy goes for, he will never get compensated the type of money that he should be getting because of how high inflation is, because of how screwed up a lot of bosses and managers are to people. And then number three, a lot of these jobs are just, they're draining. It stops you from being motivated to go anywhere in your life, to where you're just waking up every day like a zombie with a routine, going to somewhere that you dread going, and then your coworkers don't make it any better because they're horrible people as well, who love to just talk about and put down people, and they try to start fights and arguments with you every day. Why would you want to work a job if you're going to deal with all of that? Why would you want to go out here and date as a man if you know you're not going to get anywhere with it? If you know from all the calculations, regardless of statistics, but your own life, if you know from the calculations of your own life, going up to women, you're not going to be successful at it. Why would you keep doing it in the first place? Why would you not give up and say that that's it? I'm going on with my life. If something comes along my way with a girl, fine. If something doesn't, then it's whatever, man. Because today's dating market is very unfair. It's not even a dating market. If anything, it's a slaughter market. Like, let's just call it what it is. Today's dating market is a slaughter market for the emotions of men to have lower self esteem. And also, when we look at people who say, if men just go to the gym, if they just try to be more confident, if they work on talking to themselves in the mirror every day, like just trying to be freaking Alice in Wonderland, that they'll just somehow become confident and take on the world with no type of regrets. This is just stupid, man. Because, for one, you have men out here who are in some of the most worst shape ever mentally, to where they have been harassed nonstop. They have been put down their whole lives. They don't have anyone out here that's trying to look out and take care of them. So why would you expect a man in today's society, to where things are just getting harder, the prices are going up, it's getting more difficult to make a living for yourself, to want to really date and even hold a job like that, when everything around him is a puddle of hopelessness? You see, people do not think about men's mental health. They don't care about what men go through. Because whenever you see the men who didn't have to try as hard as that we have to try every day with going to work, the men that you see that didn't have to try as hard of getting that special girl in their life, like a lot of us have to do or are no longer doing, right? It makes you understand that this life comes down to the alignment of where you are and who you are. If things don't align for you to get a good job, for you to get a good woman, if you're not the type of man that people deem to be very important just off your existence alone of when you speak to people, when you put yourself out there and people aren't gravitating to you like a freaking bee to honey, that shows you right there that your life is already pretty much a lost cause from society. You have to focus on building your life away from society. Because if you continue to try to build your life in today's modernized and artificial, superficial society, you are going to find yourself even more unhappy. It doesn't matter. Even if you manage to land that spot at that job that you had a horrible time at, trying to endure with the best of your mental ability, it doesn't matter, because you're going to soon find out that the type of props that you expected that were supposed to make you happy from getting from this job of people congratulating you, you're going to come to find out that it doesn't mean nothing. You're going to come to find out it doesn't matter how much money you get, it doesn't matter how much you look smacks. It's never going to be something that's real and authentic for you to have an actual partner in your life, a woman who actually cares about you, if you have to have all of this superficial, mundane stuff in order to get it. Hard work and suffering will get men nowhere. You were supposed to have things just come to you. Because the people who want to argue with me and say, oh, if a man doesn't work hard and doesn't go through suffering, he doesn't become a man. You're already an idiot. Because for one, how come the men that we see right now who are Twitch live streamers, who just live streamed all day, who just screamed, yelled into a mic all day at their chat, they have millions of people following them. They're doing all these silly little skits, right? They didn't have to try hard at getting a good career. The money just fell to them because they just found out, live streaming and became the most important person on the universe. Pure luck. And then number two, the men that you see already with women in these relationships that are long term, which is a freaking saint miracle nowadays, right? The men that you see in these long term relationships got this naturally. They didn't have to put in work. So if you're having to do hard work and go through suffering in your financial, in your dating life, in your social life when it comes to talking to people, you are already at a losing deficit here. Because the men who don't have to try, those are truly the men winners, okay? The men who have to try, those are the losers in our situations. If you're having to try hard, if you're having to work hard, that's nothing to be just so upbeat about, to where it's like, okay, this other person got it easy, but yet I'm working just to get crumbs. I'm not even getting a tenth of what that other guy got. Like, that's nothing to be proud of. And this is why I say, the men who don't have to try are the winners. The men who have to try are the losers. This is a common law of life. No matter what religion you believe in, no matter what philosophy you subscribe to, no matter what your belief is, the more you try, the more you will die. The less you try, the more you will fly. And that's an actual saying. Because things in life should be effortless for you. And people don't seem to understand this. To why men have chosen to go their own way, pursue things away from dating. They've chosen to go on their own path of trying to at least start an entrepreneurship job, of trying to make a living for themselves online monetarily versus going to a 9 to 5 repetitive, stupid, boring job. It is worthless to try. Trying is going to be what keeps you in an insane spiral of misery every day. I do not want to be a man that's working for someone else for the rest of my life. I do not want to be a man that's constantly having to go after some chick's validation who should just be wanting me in the first place. I don't want to have to be a man that has to sit up and explain to my family and the people that I'm socially hanging around about everything I'm doing in my life just to get them to accept me and be proud of me. That is a pathetic lifestyle to live. And this is why you see these men who are living by this lifestyle, they're not even happy. Why do you think men who are celebrities who have all this money and then they have this so-called spouse girl with them, right? They still just want to just stop living and not want to try anymore because they realize that it's not real. It's not something that's genuine that they have. They realize they live in an artificial world. They live in a total lie. I don't want to be a man that lives in a lie. I want to live fully in the truth. And if living in the truth means that I can't have most of my family with me, if I can't socialize with people like that, if I don't get to date like that, then so freaking be it. I don't care about any of that. That is lowly human mundane behavior. I come from a higher place of thinking, higher clarity, things that you do not naturally get, you don't need it in your life. So this is something to think about. Where is hard work guiding you? Where is suffering guiding you? You will get no results by doing the same thing. Every other man since the dawn and age of time of every civilization before this whole Western world came about has worked hard. They've put in every ounce of effort. Medieval times, Roman times, and these men still failed. You still had men who weren't successful. They didn't get to have their own kingdoms. They had to go somewhere else with their life. If they're doing what I'm doing, right, the smarter route of trying to build their own independent kingdom away from society, regardless of whose stupid social attachment of who accepts whatever I have, right? Those are what the smart men are doing. The smart men are going away from people. They're going away from mundane human activity of the Western world. This society is one big lie. It's a pathetic comic book that should have never been about, man. The birth rates get lower every freaking day, every freaking year. The food gets even more toxic. It gets even more bad for our bodies to take in because of the chemicals, because of everything, man. So I don't want to hear anything about people saying that, oh, you just need to work hard and just go through suffering. That does nothing. I want results on my own time because I already understand no matter what I do for the people around me, the job place that I'm going after, the women that I might be interested in, that's not going to work. So I'm focused on me building my own path. That's what men should be doing. Building an independent path away from the influence of society and other people around you. Because I can tell you right now, people don't bring anything but trouble to them, dude. Like, you have to get over wanting to be attached to people, wanting to intermingle. Because when you intermingle, you're always going to get some toxic residue. You're always going to get trash on you from someone else's social behavior. I don't have time for that. So get away from the society, get away from the artificiality of socializing, get away from this pathetic dead grift of a dating market, man. Give up on it and do things your way, man. You were going to be condemned if you do, and you're going to be condemned if you don't. So I'd rather go out with a big glorious beacon of action that I'm going to do on my own time, man. But you guys take care. Like and subscribe if you're new. Tell me what else you guys want me to elaborate on in the comment section. I highly appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. And like I always tell you guys, stay away from the modern women. Thank you.